The US election is fast approaching. Donald Trump and Kamala Harris are preparing for their first presidential debate. What we're going to do, we're going to go through a few news outlets in the United States to see what they are reporting on. We're going to start with CNN. Casey, what is the state of the race from the CNN perspective?
There are just 62 days until Election Day and 6 days until Kamala Harris and Donald Trump meet on the debate stage in Philadelphia. And there are just 2 days, yes, 2, until the first mail-in ballots will be sent out. Voters are going to be voting. New CNN polling released just this morning shows a race that is truly neck and neck among likely voters in key battleground states. Harris holds a lead over Trump in Wisconsin and Michigan. In Arizona, Trump holds the lead. In nearby Nevada, there's no clear leader. And in what are arguably the two most critical states, well, it's a tie. There is no clear leader in Georgia, and it is dead even in the must-win state of Pennsylvania. Around 15% of likely voters in these swing states say they are open to changing their mind about which candidate they will support. On average, about 2/3 of likely voters in these states say they're extremely motivated to vote in November. And here is where you see evidence that Harris's momentum is from getting the Democratic base voters excited. In Michigan, 72% of Democratic-aligned registered voters say they're extremely motivated to vote. That is up from 58% back in March. This new CNN polling shows that the race to 270, the path to the White House, runs straight through Georgia and Pennsylvania.
Thank you for those details. So we're going to switch quickly to Fox News. What is the state of the race at the moment?
Voters trust President Trump to secure our border because he had the most secure border in history. And then he handed it over to Joe Biden and border czar Kamala Harris, and they opened it to millions and millions of illegal people from all over this world. Kamala Harris has allowed nearly 20 million illegal people into our country. That is more than the total population of 47 states. Many of these illegal immigrants have proven to be heinous murderers, criminals, even terrorists. If you allow people to break our nation's laws and then you reward them with prepaid debit cards and a free flight to the city of their choice and then put them up in a luxury hotel, of course, they are going to continue breaking the law. We need law and order in this country. President Trump was a law and order president. Kamala Harris has been weak on crime her entire career as a prosecutor, as a senator, as vice president. What makes people believe that she is going to suddenly be president and be tough on crime and secure the border? She won't. She is saying these things to get elected now. The American people are smarter than this, and this border crisis is unsustainable. We are going to lose our country because of it if we have 4 more years of it.
Yeah, 10 million border encounters under the Biden-Harris administration. We are not saying every single one of those individuals is a criminal, but if you close the border and do not allow any of these people to come, guess what? The 1, 2,000, 10,000 criminals that come are not going to come. And that is the big takeaway. They don't need to be here. This is an avoidable problem. Meantime, President Trump will deliver a major speech today on the economy. Contrast that with this. Vice President Harris's tax plan is going to jack up most tax rates, will allow the Trump tax cuts to expire. She says this is for the middle class, but in many ways, this is going to really hurt the middle class. Here's Trump on Kamala's widely criticized capital gains plan of her tax policy. Listen.
If that's going to happen, go out and open an appraisal company because you're going to make a fortune.
Thank you for those details. So next, we're going to switch to News Nation, to Chris Cuomo, who believes Kamala Harris still has higher chance to winning this election. Chris.
There's this one guy who has predicted 10 out of the last 10 presidential elections, okay? He is the author of the 13 Keys. He is Professor Alan Lichtman, and he is ready to give his prediction for whom he thinks is going to win. Now, the first thing I want to ask you, Professor, is thank you for being with me. I appreciate you.
Certainly.
My first
I'm always
question
happy
is,
to be with you.
I have never covered a race that I felt was as tight as this one seems to be. Are you nervous about the call you're about to make?
I've been doing this for 40 years. And
are you nervous?
You bet I am nervous,
All
as
right.
always, particularly in this crazy, topsy-turvy political year. But I stick with my predictions no matter what. The keys are the North Star, the unchanging system.
Well, let me be your lodestar of concern. Can you wait until the debate and then make the prediction?
I did not want to wait to the debate because my big message is it's governing, not campaigning, that counts. And the keys gauge the strength and performance of the White House party,
All right.
independent of the events of the campaign. And I wanted to prove that once again in my prediction.
Who is it and why?
It's going to be a path-breaking victory, the first woman president, Kamala Harris. And here's why. Under my 13 key system, which, as you said, has been right for 40 years, it takes 6 of the 13 keys to turn against the White House party to predict their defeat. At a maximum, the White House party this time loses 5 keys, 1 key short of the 6 needed to predict their defeat. And that's why, based on a system that's worked for 40 years and has nothing to do with my own political preferences. After all, I picked Trump, predicted Trump in 2016. I'm now predicting a path-breaking Harris victory.
Has anyone ever won with 6 keys against them?
Never. It has never happened since I've been looking at this, and it goes all the way back.
Which is back to the 1800s.
Abraham Lincoln.
All right, so never. All right, so
Never.
now let's look and see how good your justification is for the keys. Why do you think it's only 5? Put them up there again. I got to see which one they are. So these are the keys in favor.
Yeah. Obviously, no contest. They united behind Harris. The third-party campaign has fizzled away. Big changes in policy from Trump to Biden. Social unrest has faded. They've tried for 4 years to pin a scandal on Biden, have failed. What goes on with his son or his family doesn't count on my system. Billy Carter.
So do you think you're being too strict?
Billy Carter. And
so you don't think you're being too strict in the allowances for challenger charisma, for instance? Like, you don't think Trump this time around qualifies as challenger charisma?
Absolutely not, according to my system. I get all these emails every day of people who think they know better how to define these keys. But if you want to use my system, you got to stick to my key, which is a once-in-a-generation. Yes, you're great at it. Cross-party.
I'm one of your people.
Candidate, not someone who appeals to a narrow base like Trump. No matter what you may think of him, is irrelevant.
All right. Professor Lichtman, thank you very much for making the prediction here and explaining it.
Thank you for watching this quick update on the US election. Please, if you like the video, like, share, and subscribe for some more.